Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk on people getting overly offended if you criticize a video game. And it doesn't matter whether the game is good or bad. Like, the thing is this, it's funny because I remember back when I had originally started in, like, with YouTube and all that stuff. Like, when I originally got into content creating, it wasn't a common thing. Well, content creating was different back then. It's kind of like how TikTok is, where people just be posting like clips and short videos. Like, yeah, it was unheard of to see people rant about a video game and stuff. I have to say, I feel like when video game or like gaming content, when it starts to become a little bit more popular on YouTube, I feel like that's like when some gaming rant videos had kind of, started surfacing and stuff. But I feel like the main ones that I can think of and I feel like it was valid ranting. I feel like it was a valid, and that was one thing about it. I wasn't one of those people where I'm trolling the person. I'm like, oh, skill issue, get good, and all this. That wasn't even a thing back then when these videos was being uploaded. But anyways, there's this YouTuber, content creator named Michael Jones. He used to do videos. I don't know if he still does, but I remember he used to do videos with this channel called Rooster Teeth. And so, anyways, he would do this series called Rage Quit, where he'll play a bunch of different games. Like, I think I remember him playing Dead Rising 2. He played Crackdown. Well, no, actually, I think Crackdown was uploaded on his own personal channel. Well, he might have did a Rage Quit video on Crackdown. But anyways, I remember he did a video on that where he was trying to chase this orb. And that was the thing, like, if you knew how to, do whatever mission, I guess, a person would be flipping out on and stuff, when you see somebody do a rage quit video or they going crazy and losing their mind and all that stuff, you just laugh about it. You ain't gonna sit there and I guess argue with the person because, oh, this is my favorite game and I gotta defend it with every ounce of my soul and stuff. Nah, you didn't do that back then. Back then, content creating was, when you compare content creating to how it was back then versus now, back then, people actually they enjoyed whatever video they watch. And if they didn't, they move on to the next video. People are just way too critical now, and I don't know what it is. I don't know who, I guess, promoted that, but yeah, bro, you ain't got every video that you see, especially if it's a video of a person ranting about a video game that you so happen to like. The thing is this: if I done played this game, done got mad at it and all this other stuff, I'll post a video of myself talking on my frustrations with the game, and you trying to argue with me, do you think whatever you say is going to change my mind on how I feel about that game? Because there are some people that won't be wanting to argue, and then there's others where it's like they just want to use the same old catchphrases as another person. And I'm like, for those people, and talking to those people, can y'all say something different? Like, when I see people say get good, skill issue, or I'm trying to think what else do they, I feel like if I sit down and I think about it and stuff, or just go through some of the videos and stuff, I'll see what, like the other ones are. But yeah, when I see people saying things like that, I'm like, you realize that you guys ain't no different than them people that be on them Twitch, like small Twitch channels where they be trying to promote that fake art on Twitter and stuff. I'm like, it's the same thing over and over again. I'm like, man, it's just people. That's one thing about it, that people like that, they're not unique. They're not creative. They can talk about how creative they are. They're like, oh, I put out this art piece. I did this and I did that. I just troll and do all this other. No, you're not creative. There's no way possible you can convince me. If you're having to use a catchphrase that's been said for how many times do you think that catchphrase has been said today? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like at times I'm like, people, they just copy and paste that stuff, or they just go to a website, and it's like, bro, be creative with your comment. Have it where it's like a person can listen to what you're saying, and it's like, oh, this is different. Like, that's why people watch my content, because it's like, it's different. It ain't the same. If my content was the same as somebody else, people wouldn't be watching my content. So yeah, so I'm like, people, when they be doing things like that, I'm like, man, just please go, get out of here. I'm like, you're a kid, you don't know no better, please go. I'm like, it'd be grown adults that be saying some stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, you're a child. Like, just go outside and play or something. But anyways, but no, like, there's the ones that get overly offended. Like, they are wanting to argue with you, and I feel like, yeah, we got to mainly talk about those types of people, because what I'm trying to figure out is, why is it a problem if I don't like a particular video game? Like, the two games that I posted clips of myself playing recently, is Arc Raiders and Armored Core 6. like Rise of Ubicon or whatever the name is of that game, but Armored Core 6. I posted 2 clips of myself rage quitting both games because, so to explain the situation with Armored Core is made by the same people that do Elden Ring. So if you guys already know what the situation is with Elden Ring, yeah, Armored Core 6 ain't no different. It's this crazy difficult, no, and I even went back and played the old Armored Core. It was the very first Armored Core game to ever release. I went back and played that, and I'm like, fam, I can see why these games never took off. Armored Core 6 was probably the only game that took off because, yeah, visually the game does look pretty nice. But fam, there's this other game that I play where it kind of plays out like Armored Core. It's this game called Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion, I think. That game is a lot better than Armored Core 6. And the reason why I say that is because the thing is this: when a person plays a video game, it always should be a situation where I could choose whatever difficulty settings that I want to choose. Now, yes, there are games out there where they kind of have it as your difficult. It's like it gets harder as the game goes on and stuff. I don't mind that. I don't mind it if I get all the way to the end of the game and the last boss, it takes me a while to beat it. I don't mind that because my thing is this. I played the game. I experienced what the game is. I know what the story is about. And I kind of know how it's going to end with me going up against whatever boss, taking them out, and I'm moving on with my life. But my thing is this, though. So for somebody that's never played Armored Core 6, the very first boss fight that you deal with, so there's a method on how to take out that very first boss. Every game that I've played where they have you go up against some beginner boss, there ain't no method. You can play the game however you want to play it. I don't like games where they force you to play the game on how the developers, or I guess however they want you to play the game and stuff. When you are developing a video game, it should always be a situation on how I want to be able to play this game however I want to play it. If I went out and paid $60, $70 for this game, fam, I should be able to play the game however I want to play it. But no, the developers have it set up where you gotta go underneath the bosses, because it's like a helicopter or something like that. Some sort of aircraft. I don't know what kind of aircraft it was, but it flies around like a helicopter. But anyways, you have to go underneath it and then pretty much fight it from underneath it. And I'm thinking to myself, why is the game designed that way? Or why is this boss designed that way? Why is it not a situation where I could just fight it however I want to fight it? My thing is this: if you want people to experience the story, because let's say we lived in a universe where YouTube, forums, guidebooks, all that stuff didn't exist, there would be a lot of people playing that game and being like, fam, how am I supposed to beat this boss? So that's the thing where I'm like, I guess people, they different from me. I'm like, but that's what I don't like. I don't like having to go through YouTube and forums and Reddit and TikTok and Twitter and all these different websites trying to figure out how to be the boss. Bro, I'm just trying to play this game because that's one thing. I feel like that way too many developers, they comfortable with having people doing that, where they play the game, go to YouTube, play the game, go to Reddit, play the game, go to TikTok, play the game, go to Twitter. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to be going back and forth from places figuring out how to play your guys' game. I'm just trying to play the game. Because when I think of games, I guess that I usually play, like racing games, for an example. Like there's this one game that just recently came out called Project Motor Racing. The only time I'll go on to YouTube is when I just want to see, TikTok, is because I want to see other people play the game. Not so much trying to capture an idea of how it needs to be played, but just seeing how other people are feeling about the game. But it's like, if I'm having to go back and forth from YouTube, watching tutorial after tutorial, why not just watch the YouTubers play the game and then just not play it myself? That seemed like that would make a lot more sense versus having to play the game, pause it, go to YouTube, how to beat the first boss. Oh, that's how you beat the first boss. Am I going to have to do that throughout the whole game? Because look, how I grew up is, a lot of the different Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, for an example, that's a video game where it doesn't really have no difficulty settings. It's just as the game goes on, they'll have you play some more difficult missions and stuff. Yeah, first mission they have you do is you're trying not to get shot by some gang members on the bike. I'm like, yeah, stuff like that, easy. But imagine if they had it where after the first bullet, you get shot and killed. And it's like, and you have to keep starting that mission all over again. Do you think that game would have taken off as far as it did if they had it set up that way, where they want to be as realistic as possible? And I was talking about that in my stream, is that there are developers out there where they try to be way too realistic, but in a sense where it's like, fam, you're making it where the environment and I guess the stuff that I'm going up against, yeah, realistically, if a aircraft is shooting missiles at me, whatever I'm in is gonna blow up and I'm gonna die. Or even if I'm playing Elden Ring, yeah, if you got some mythical creature out in the woods somewhere with a big old giant golden sword swinging it at me, yeah, after a couple of hits, or probably after the first hit, I'm gonna die. But what trips me out is that they'll do stuff like that, right? But also have it set up where your character, for some reason, is just going out there unprepared. My thing is this. If I'm developing a video game, and then they're like, let's say if I'm working for a company and they're like, you have to develop a realistic video game. I'm not going to make it realistic as in like the environment is realistic. I'm going to like overall, if that's what they want, I'm like, okay, my thing is this. I also have to make it to where realistically you're going to go out there with a little bit more, you know, more prepared, rather than, oh, let me go out there unprepared and stuff with the bare minimum. Yeah, I guess people probably wouldn't play my game if all the stuff that you need to earn throughout the game is already unlocked. But it seems like that's how a lot of games is played nowadays. Because I just remember with Elden Ring, when I was playing that for a little bit, people were like, oh, you don't have to fight that first boss. You can go and kill all these other bosses and then come back to that boss. Fam, I didn't buy the game to have it where I'm skipping past bosses and stuff. And then what's crazy is that, so there, I think it was both Elden Ring and it was Armored Core. Because, yeah, people know that game is crazy. Both of those games are crazy difficult. And it's made by the same people. So, obviously, yeah, they're going to make where both games are alike. But, no, somebody out there had created a mod to make the game easier. People were getting mad about that. And I'm thinking to myself, you didn't buy the game for those people that want to download that mod. So how are you going to tell a person you ain't buy the game, you ain't buy the console or the PC that they're playing the game on? How are you going to tell them how to play the game? That's what I would like to know. But you got people where they will, rather than just playing the game themselves, they want to sit and tell you how to play the game. That's what trips me out about people in today's gaming society, is that they are way too comfortable with trying to be pretty much a backseat gamer. You know, like they're telling you how to play the game and all this. I'm like, fam, I'm not hearing any of that. I'm not hearing any of that. You wasn't there for me when I played my very first video game. I have nobody in my ear telling me how to play a game. All I just had was me pretty much figuring it out on my own. Whatever game that I got. When I Grand Theft Auto, when I very first got that game, I had to figure it out on my own. Let me think of some other games. When I got my very first Forza game, Forza Motorsports 3, I had to figure it out on my own. What are some other games out there? I guess, yeah, just naming off some random games. That Hulk game that came out after that 2003 movie, I figured that out on my own. The King Kong game, I figured that out on my own. Let me think of some other games out there. Yeah, pretty much every game that I've played, I've had to figure it out on my own. So why does it need to be a situation where I'm either going through YouTube tutorials, or if I post a clip of me rage quitting, crashing out, whatever the case may be, of a video game, ranting about a game, you feel the need, rather than just playing the game yourself and not even worried about people like that? Because it trips me out where you'll see them in your comment sections on whatever platform arguing with you about the game, rather than just going out and just playing the game themselves. Because that's one thing about it. If there's a game that I like for an example, Project Motor Racing's latest racing game that hit the scene and stuff. So this video game currently right now, a lot of bad ratings. Like, everybody does not like this game. I think this game is still currently sitting at a mostly negative. Let me see real quick. Project Motor Racing. I think the game is still currently sitting at a mostly negative, but it's still sitting at a mostly negative. People don't like this game. My thing is this. Yeah, there have been times where I've seen some reviews and people talking badly about a game that I like. Like, there's this other racing game called Hot Lap Racing, where I seen this one review where the guy was like, oh, the trees don't look all that good. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fam, this is a racing game. Like, it's not a tree simulator where it's like, oh, forget the racing. I just got this game so I can look at the trees. Like, it'll be some reviews like that where I'm like, okay, yeah, that's just silly. That is you talking on stuff that ain't nobody paying attention to, versus, oh, let's see you, criticize the developers on the lack of cars, the lack of tracks, the lack of weather conditions, the lack of fans in the crowd, the lack of commentary. for it. You know, like stuff that like actually matters. No, you're worried about some trees. And the thing is this, when you look at the trees, I guess like they kind of look like maybe the trees from like the old Grand Theft Auto games. Like they're them like flat pixelated looking trees. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, bro, you must be a kid that was born after like, what, 2006 or something, because my thing is this, I was born in 96, so I played games where for an example, like I went back and played the 007 game that came out on the Nintendo 64. I'll play games like that. I'll play because yeah, there was like on that Nintendo Switch, both the Switch 1 and 2, they have this feature where you could go back and play some of the like old video games from the 90s and stuff. Fam, when I look at games like those games that I'd like, the 007 game and the Mario Kart, or Mario Kart 64 and the Super Mario 64, and I'm trying to think even some older games, like I know, so there's this Atari system that I had got a while ago, and they have like all these old games on there. Like there's this bowling game that I played. Fam, when you see some of the visuals for them, like really, really like them 80s, 90s, like video games from back then, bro, even there's this PlayStation 1 console. They had like Sony had came out with these PlayStation 1 minis where they were they just had like a gang of old games on there. And I think one of the games that they had was a Rainbow Six game, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six game. Night and day compared to Rainbow Six Siege. Like Rainbow Six Siege, yeah, they have it where you can break down homes, buildings, stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, and then that game, it was like I couldn't even really play that game because the controls was off, and I was like, bro, I don't know what's going on with this game, but can't play this. Like, nah, man, this game is all the way messed up. But that's the thing though, like I don't care. It's stuff like that doesn't matter to me. You know, like the old visuals of a game, because I played games that look like that. I played games where they had pixelated trees and cars that, you know, it didn't sound like the actual car and stuff, and they moved around funny. Like, bro, if you played games like Grand Theft Auto, and I guess like if you played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and then played Grand Theft Auto 5, yeah, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, you can hit somebody, they'll jump in the air, do a 360 spin and fall flat on the ground, versus Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5, you hit somebody, they actually roll across your car. Like it looks like a real person getting hit, you know? So yeah, that's why I'm like, fam, I played games where they had like them old visuals and all that stuff. If somebody today, because they were even saying that with Project Motor Racing, they was like, people were like, they ain't like the visuals of the game, and I'm like, my thing is this, I could care less about the visuals. As long as the gameplay is good and I'm having a good experience with the game, that's all that matters. I don't care about nothing else. But if I'm not having a good experience with the game, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to rant about it. If you're having a good experience with a game that I'm not having a good experience with, that doesn't mean that it's like, oh, I got to put aside whatever it is that I'm doing and sit around and argue with this TMossBoss character because he's talking badly about my favorite game. Who cares if I'm talking badly about your favorite game? Honestly, though, who cares? Like the way that people, because that's how I look at this. The way that people be defending the video game, like, so for an example, there's Arc Raiders. I recently talked about that game because I didn't like the idea of it being like a PvPvE shooter where you're having to go up against the environment and actual people. So you're just wasting your ammo left and right. And then on top of that, if you use a free loadout, you're only getting limited ammo. So you're stuck between using whatever, I guess, loadout that you want to leave with, where it's like you're wasting your own stuff, or you have the option of going with a free loadout, but you ain't gonna be getting a whole lot of ammo and armor and stuff to protect yourself. I guess, yeah, you'll have to go around the map in the game, but my thing is this: as you're going around trying to look for stuff, you're having to go up against these robots where it's gonna take more than 2-3 bullets to take them out. And then you're also coming across people where it's going to be the same situation. It's going to take you more than 2-3 bullets to take them out. But they ain't trying to, it's like they make it realistic but unrealistic at the same time. Like you shoot somebody, they just, let me, dodge twice, move to the left once, move backwards 5 times and stuff, shoot this guy one time, whoever this TMossBoss person is, and now I'm dying. And it's things like that where it's like, do you think somebody's really trying to hear skill issue or get good and stuff like that? No, all that's just going to do is make me not like the game even more and talk more about it and then prevent more people from not going out and buying the game. Because remember, ain't nobody going to see your comment. They going to see my video. So that's one thing about it that people need to understand. You sitting here trying to argue with somebody about, but then my thing is this: why not just go out and just play the game? That's the stuff that be tripping me out. You're in my comment sections arguing with me about the game. Why are you not playing it? I feel like I've asked that question before, but I'm like, it confuses me because if there's a game out there that I like, right? Like I remember people were trying to say that Destiny 2 was better than Destiny 1. I remember I got into an argument about that, but my thing is this: I'm still going to play the game. I'm like, you ain't going to stop me from playing the game. You ain't going to prevent me from playing the game. Like, I remember I argued with that person for a little bit. After that, I was all like, okay, well, anyways, I'm going to go back and play Destiny 1. So you cannot like the game at the end of it, but it's from that. It's from the last Forza Motorsports. Like, I will say that game did have a lack of content, but I still put some hours into that game. I'm trying to think of some other. Mind's Eye. That game, I have to say, I don't even think that game even has like no good ratings and stuff. Hold on for a second. Let's see. Mind's Eye. They currently got that game on like half off and stuff, but they did recently come out with an update too. For both. I have to check that out and see what it's all about and stuff. But anyways, but no, yeah, overall they did have it where this game, when it originally came out, because yeah, right now it's at a mostly positive. That's actually kind of crazy seeing that and stuff. But no, overall though, people were criticizing this game, talking badly about it. Even people were trying to say bad things to me about the game. I still played and beat the game. And I'm actually hoping that they do either like a DLC. I don't know if they have any plans for like a DLC or anything. Yeah, I just think that I don't know. They haven't really said, because I think I did buy the special the deluxe edition of the game, because I think it was on sale. I think it was like $59.99 to get the deluxe edition at the time when it came out. So I don't know. Hopefully in the future they do decide to do a because I did get it, because there was like some stuff that I'm looking at in the DLC section, and I was like, yeah, I do remember getting that stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm hoping that they either do like a campaign expansion or a part 2 to the game. Either way, I'm like, fam, Mind's Eye was a good game in my opinion. You might not like it, but I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you about you not liking the game. If you don't like the game, then fam, that's on you. But it's one of those things where it's like, if there's a game that I like that somebody else doesn't like, and they trying to get on me for liking the game, I'm not gonna listen to that. I'm like, fam, I'm still gonna play the game. So you having this argument with me, it's not gonna change how I feel about the game. But that even goes for a game that I don't like. If I say that I don't like a game, it's like, oh, get good, skill issue, all this other stuff. You think I'm gonna jump back out and buy that game or play it, whatever the case may be? No. I know my thing is this: with Arc Raiders, there's room for that game to grow. There's things that they can add to that game to make it into a good game. But if all they plan on doing is just leaving this as an extraction shooter with a PvE option and no PvE option, none of that, I guarantee and I promise you this game's gonna die off a lot quicker than it did blow up. Because the thing is this, it ain't like it's going to be the only extraction. This is like, oh, this is the last extraction shooter that's going to come out. And I guarantee and I promise you, there's a lot of people out there coming out with extraction, because I'm like Gray Zone Warfare. I don't know what the case is going to be for that marathon game, but I think there's like, that's going to be an extraction shooter game. But my thing is this: there's a gang of games out there that's going to be coming out from within the extraction shooter genre and outside the extraction shooter genre. And I think I even remember checking earlier today to see what the player count was for that game. Hold on for a second. Arc Raiders Steam player count. I've been looking this up a lot lately, I guess. But anyways, 253,000 people are playing this game, and then a 24-hour peak they had 367,000, and they had an all-time peak 12 days ago where 481,000 people. So almost like half the people done left this game. They're not even playing it no more. What's up with that? Why they don't have? Because I remember, at one point in time there was over 400,000. I was like, that was earlier today when I checked, and they had only 200 and something thousand people playing the game. So I'm like, what? My thing is this: what happened from 12 days ago all the way up until now? Because how I look at it, people are starting to realize there ain't nothing else to do in this game. I've did everything that I need to do. So I'm going to move on. There's millions of games out there from Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. Like, if you're somebody like me where you got all the platforms and stuff, you got a gaming PC, you got an Xbox, you got a PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. Then on top of that, I'm like, then there's like other, I guess, honorable mentions, the PlayStation Plus, handheld gaming PC, Steam Deck, stuff like that, where I'm like, there's all these different games that I could be playing and stuff. Do you think I'm going to sit and put hours upon hours after I've seen everything that I need to do? There's a toss-up between playing other video games or just sitting and wasting more time playing the same old mode in Arc Raiders. Yeah, I'm going to be playing other games. I'll play Arc Raiders, I guess, when they come out with an update or do something where it changes the game and it gives me a reason to go back and play it. But if they ain't going to be doing nothing that's going to give me a reason to go back and play the game, why am I playing it? But the thing is this, though. I say that I'm not trying to take people away from the game. I'm just trying to make people understand where I'm coming from when I play this game. But I feel like people are going to hear this and then they're going to be wanting to argue, get mad, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, fam, I'm not here for that. If you don't like the idea of me talking badly about your game, my thing is this. That's on you. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But if you gonna sit here and try to argue with me, Arc Raiders is good, it doesn't need this, it's gonna make the game boring and all this other stuff, that's how you feel. I'm still not going to change how I feel about the game. It's funny because, like, I'll say that. I'll talk about how Arc Raiders, it needs more modes in the game. And people are like, if they add a PvE mode, they're not even hearing me when I say that it needs, and even if they don't add a PvE mode, still add a campaign, add a traditional PvP mode. I'm trying to think, even add like a co-op mode where it's like you're just going up against waves of enemies. You ain't even got to have it where it ain't no PvE stuff. Just have like other modes and other stuff to do in the game. I'm saying there's areas for that to be there, so have it there and stuff. They just ignore that and they're all like, PvE is gonna be boring. I'm like, that's the only thing that you heard. You ain't hear nothing else. I'm like, that's why I'm like, at times it ain't even worth it arguing with people on the internet, because I'm like, a lot of the times, like, there's people that'll sit around and do that, and it's like, you can tell they got like some low IQ stuff going on, where I'm like, they wasn't the brightest kid in the classroom. They definitely was that one where they had to go to summer school and get their credits up and stuff. Because I'm like, at times you be arguing with people and it's like, you don't hear nothing, do you? I'm like, it's like stuff clicks in your brain, but it ain't clicking the right way and stuff. So that's what I'm like, man, I don't be wanting to argue with people at times because it's pointless. The thing is this, I'll say something, they'll make the most amount of sense. I'm like, because there's stuff that I've seen in other video games, at least when I'll elaborate when it comes to my arguments. No, you just got people out there, they just want to say the same thing because it sounds cool, and I'm like, there ain't no reason arguing with you. So, but anyways, with that being said, bro, people, it's like, here's the thing. Y'all gotta stop getting so offended when a person criticizes your game, or your favorite video game. But at the same time, you cannot be that person where it's like, if a person says that a game is good, and that's like, and there's people out there saying that Arc Raiders is good. There's people out there playing the game. I'm not going into every stream, telling people, hey, don't play this game. If somebody asks me, my thing is this. And somebody asks me and they're like, hey, do you like Arc Raiders? I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Not right now. Maybe if they add more stuff, okay. But currently right now, no, I don't. But if you like the game, if you're playing the game and all that stuff, hey, that is 100% fine. I'm not going to take that away from you. Play the game. Enjoy it. Have it where that's the only game that you play. Have it where you play that game so much where it gets me to play the game again. But at the same time, my thing is this. If you like that game, don't listen to nobody on what they're saying. But if you do not like a game and you talk about if you want to like criticize and talk about the game, that's one thing about it. Do not listen to anybody that be trying to argue with you on why you shouldn't be criticizing their favorite game. Because most likely they gonna say the same thing that I said in this podcast episode. They ain't gonna try to hit you with no actual factuals. They ain't gonna try to, make it make sense on why your hate is invalid for the game game or your dislikings towards the game is invalid. No, they just gonna say the same old, and it's like, fam, you didn't prove nothing, you didn't say anything, I guess, like, worth responding to. So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow or subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.